Today, amidst all the fear, the divisiveness, the manipulation, the anger, the prejudice that seems to be engulfing um, and surrounding all of us right now, there is a gentle, powerful energy in the form of the Kogi who wish to come here and to bring their medicine and their message to all of us to reawaken and rekindle that flame. As I think of that, I remember a time long ago when another time when that ember, that flame seemed to die down to embers. Amongst the people, instead of the peaceful council lodges where everyone had their voice heard, and those gathering together to come in together in a good way to walk so that we could see how to move forward as one. There seemed to be arguing, there seemed to be disrespect. No one, everyone shouting over the other, wanting their voices to be heard. Chaos, like is what's going on in the world today. But like that powerful presence of our brothers, the Kogi. There was at that time a young boy that crept closer to the council lodge so he could see what was going on, why there was so much terrible shouting, why there was so much anger coming from that place of peace and that place of harmony that he always remembered as a boy. And he peeked inside and he saw the arguing, he saw the shouting, he saw the disrespect, and his heart began to grow heavy as he witnessed what he saw and what he heard. But as he was looking on, he began to hear a gentle, powerful sound that seemed to overpower all of those things. It was not as loud as the shouting, but it seemed to pull to him. He stepped back from the council lodge, and the shouting and the anger and everything that was coming from that lodge seemed kind of melt away, and all he heard was this beautiful, consistent sound. He didn't know what it was, and he didn't know where it was coming from. But soon he found himself and his footsteps taking him in a certain direction. He continued to walk. He continued to just be enveloped in that sound, that peace, and with a desire to know, to be there with it, and to find out what was making this sound. Where was this coming from? It reminded him of the most peaceful days in the village. It reminded him of when he would sit around the fire and the elders would share the teachings and the stories. This energy seemed to envelop him, and he continued to walk. It led him up to a small mesa. As he reached the top of that mesa, he saw an elder sitting there next to a fire, and in his hands was a drum, and the drum was the sound that had drawn him. As he got closer, the elder motioned to a pouch of tobacco. So the young boy took some of that tobacco, offered it, and did a small tobacco ceremony, sending forth his prayers as he offered it to that fire. And he just sat there, listening to the sound of that heartbeat. Soon, others began to show up, drawn by that sound, by that heartbeat, until the council lodge soon was empty because one by one they stopped their arguing and they began to follow the path of that young boy. And soon the whole village was gathered around this fire, that elder and that young boy. And as they each approached, that young boy would get up and offer that tobacco pouch to each of them. And they would each offer that tobacco to that fire with their prayers. They were all gathered, and that elder began to speak. He began to share once again the stories, the teachings, and the ways of harmony and peace and balance. Soon, that fire was rekindled within the people. That desire to love and respect each other and all life in all the ways, how we think, how we speak, how we act, how we treat the beautiful earth around us and all of our relatives. That warm feeling, that warm spark, that fire was alive once again within the people. And as the elder continued to speak, that moon began to rise. It was a full moon. This was the first full moon ceremony, and it was the heartbeat of the drum and the strength and the foundation of those teachings and those original instructions Creator gave us that helped us to return once again, thanks to that elder, back to the ways of harmony. The Kogi are coming. This is what they are bringing. This is what they wish to reawaken within all of us. I ask you to come and join us. Be present for that reawakening. Be a part of it. I thank you.